Hello there.
Hello.
Hola. Great to see you. Great to see you.
The the same. Yeah, thank you.
Yes. Thank you for just agreeing to, have this time to share this time together, to learn a little bit more about your story. I wanted to learn about your journey and, how has today been treating you so far?
Today has been wonderful. Yeah, all are just magical. So I'm enjoying always being in nature as well and the peace within. So it's
Yeah.
nice.
Yes. And I hear you in nature. I hear a lot of the nature in the background. Just want to make sure, can you hear and see me clearly? Is everything coming in clear?
Yeah, everything's clear. And what about you? Can you see me good?
Yeah, I can see you. I can see you a little better now. Yeah, a little better now. Okay.
Okay.
Just
I can recognize maybe the light.
okay. Awesome. Awesome. Now, and what do your friends call you? What do you usually enjoy going by?
Uh, like my name
Hmm.
per se, Alma Maria.
Alma. Alma Maria. The whole thing.
Yes, yes, it's a separate name, yeah.
Yeah. So your friends call you Alma Maria.
Yeah, sometimes they call me Alma or sometimes Maria.
Okay. And they have both different meanings. Like what do they mean?
Alma means soul, and Maria is like Mary, like the messenger of God.
So the soul of the messenger of God?
Indeed.
That's your name?
Yeah, that's how people normally come and call me. Yeah, like when I start like my whole journey, I decided to change my name and like change it in a positive way to bring like light and inspiration to people. So like my name per se is Maria,
Hmm.
normal, but like Alma is added to my name per se.
Hmm. Beautiful. Wow. I've never heard of that. Alma, the soul of the messenger of God. That's powerful. That's a powerful name, no?
Yeah, it is indeed. And you, what's like your name, Jeremy?
Jerome. Just Jerome.
Jerome. Jerome. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I don't know exactly what the name means, but I should look it up because your name sounds very powerful. I mean, when you feel like you carry that kind of name, the soul of the messenger of God, do you feel like, are you compelled to honor that, to carry the message, to be that soul?
Indeed, yeah, that's my service in the war.
Wow. Wow. So how long would you say you've been, in service on this particular journey? Because, you were talking to me about you and your partner establishing communities, being in communities, and really just giving in the way that you do. What sort of path would you say that you're on today?
Like it was from 2020 that I started like my own journey, but in 2021 I started to share this with other people
Mhm.
and be able to bring more inspiration. Basically, it starts with the foundation with plain living and high thinking, and it's like meditation, creative arts, as well as sustainable living and buildings, and basically like having everything as natural resources.
Mhm.
And yeah, that has been like I can go in detail
Yeah. And
if
and that's there,
things.
and that's in Colombia?
Yeah, right now, like on 2021, I started in Colombia, then I traveled to Panama, came back to Colombia, Panama, then I was, yeah, just going back and forth in between Panama and Colombia,
Mm.
and then now, like, has been lately much more time in Colombia, and soon would be going to United States because we have a community there in North California, in Laytonville, the Redwoods. So, yeah, just organizing things and setting things up. My partner is from California, and he lives normally in the community.
Okay. Okay. So you haven't been to California yet yourself?
Yeah, I have not. I have not.
Okay. Maria, it's amazing, the redwoods. I remember when I went to different forests in Northern California, and I mean, there's trees that are just massive, just amazing. They're gigantic, like as big as houses. Yeah. So what excites you about establishing community there?
Oh, sorry, can you repeat?
Yeah, what excites you? What, excites you about establishing communities over there?
Like, actually, the idea and vision is to establish community all around the world, and like starting in Colombia because it's the place I was born and raised, but then just going further and connecting United States and being able to have something much more huge at United States would allow us as well to expand and grow easily, since United States is like much more known and people travel a lot there, so it would be easy to travel to other countries. And so like just really happy to be able to serve people and bring this knowledge to people, because it's pretty much needed in the world and in the time we are going through right
Mm,
now. And just like realizing that the way we live needs to change, and the actual way to start living is community, building community, uniting with people, starting to bring more love, more inspiration, more connection to the world, to ourselves first and then to the world. And so just like amazing work, and yeah, really happy to be able to bring more souls together, more people that are willing to help, people that are willing to serve, and recognizing always like we are a family. So like kind of society and things will become more like a living community.
yes. Yes. Oh my gosh. I'm listening to you right now, Maria. I feel the passion, I feel so much energy and enthusiasm, for this mission. It really sounds like a mission, you know?
Indeed, yeah, it's a whole journey, because there are many things that need to be understood, many things that need to be crossed, and yeah, like it's difficult to make the transition, and not everyone is ready to make the transition. And so, like starting with just the ones that are right there, starting to feel that connection, starting to feel that call, and then slowly understanding like each other people, and bringing back to them this higher knowledge.
Yes. Yes. So with the mission, because it really sounds like this is global. This vision is like a global mission for the world. This is very far reaching. So when you have a mission of this magnitude, helping people transition with your mission, what are like a few of the things that you feel are essential for sustainable living? What are three things you would?
Hmm. First of all, like I would say, it's very important to recognize what your capacity in the community is, and like how you want to structure, and as well what is like a financial income that you can start to get, because recognizing that like you cannot just depend all the times, or like of like, okay, someone is going to donate some money to this, but more so like there's something that we as a community are producing, and so we can give this to the war, and we can help the war with this, and at some point like as well create that exchange through money, if it's money what we are looking for, or it's other things and other things. And so first I would say like having that financial clear and stability, or if we know like, okay, we're creating a community, and let's say I am owner of a huge business, then okay, I can be the one that can be putting the much more money forward until the community start to grow food and start to exchange, or other people that are more focus into how to build things will be able to share this and go to other communities and exchange this knowledge, helping them to build their like in a sustainable way. And so like this dream would be like the sustainable building, that we have people in the community that can go and exchange this knowledge and get like an income
Yeah.
through that, as well as like having that financial support of someone that is like the face of the community per se.
Mhm.
And another thing as well that is like can be is like starting with retreats, like a retreat center, that having people in the community living with us, understanding like the connection with the land, learning to meditate, as well as like how to better feed my soul, my energy, and how to daily practice that living.
And it does sound like you have daily practices. You know, you would say that there are things that you do on the daily to sort of maintain that within you, that keep that energy flourishing and blossoming and blooming within you.
Indeed, like the whole purpose is like you bring things in, like you start to realize things in meditation and start to go farther within you, but you don't want to lose that state. You want to keep that state with you. So like during the day, very important after finishing a meditation, just like holding silence for a moment and allowing yourself to be recognized in that silence, so to recognize that peace, that bliss, that love, and just to feel the energy flowing through you. And after that, just like walking slowly and trying to do things slowly. And then of course you need to move, you need to do things, but you have give yourself that transitionary part, that is like that silence, that stillness, that is starting to move slowly, that will allow you to keep that during the day. And also like, let's say if during the day there's something, a thought that comes to you and like is bothering you, and just you're just like, I need to concentrate in this. It's just like there's a really huge and amazing practice, and it's to keep your eye here focused. So you want like to create this, to create like a triangle, and like this is the spiritual eye and the point of concentration, the point of will. So it's really powerful when you just try to maintain your look over there, and like everything else is just withdrawn and nothing else exists. So just like focusing there, and let's say there's a word that inspires you, and so you just like, let's say it's love, so you just keep your face here and it's like love, 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 and go deeper. But like the most important thing is that you believe in that word, because you are putting the energy into it, and that is really what is going to help you maintain the calmness into your daily life. It's like there's always coming, there's always something coming to bother you per se. It's like that inner war that is manifested outside of you, and it's just like, okay, I don't want to waste my energy here. So I see that someone comes and want to fight, and like I am starting to learn meditate, calm myself. I don't want to go and jump into that person and fight. I want to relax a moment. If I am not even able to talk or to tell to that person, oh, I cannot talk right now because I feel that my words are just going to explode, it's better for me just to maintain silence, stay there. When I'm able to talk, I tell, okay, later we talk, that we are much more calmer, and just like trying to live more like what is really true that I want to express to you, because impulses comes and go, and then you're like, oh, I regret, why did I do this? So it's like each time thinking better in the situation, and when you cannot think, remain in silence and just like let that explosive energy go, or like focus that energy into something. Close your eyes, put it here, and transmute that energy. So like instead of feeling that you are just like releasing and exploding, imagine that that energy is flowing through the center and is spreading love and light to everyone.
Yes. Wow. Wow. I'm just, oh my goodness. You're charging me up right now. You are charging me up. Like you are on fire. It's electric. It's electric. Like I feel the energy. And so you're saying like when you can't think, or you're, all discombobulated, you're saying remain in silence, you know, remain in
Indeed.
silence, remain in stillness. And it really sounds like you have a nice mixture of, mindfulness, meditation, but also movement, So when energy wants to move, you move, but when the energy wants to be still, be still. Okay.
Indeed. Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
it's like,
And
mm-hmm.
sorry, no,
Go
continue.
ahead. You what?
Continue,
So
sorry.
it's like a harmony, like you're blending these worlds together. You're allowing people to see the benefit of not just movement, but also just remaining still, to be calm. And I love the that you had where you're pointing to the first eye, or the eye where you said that nothing else exists. You're saying everything else goes away. That's amazing.
Yeah, and like I would like to show you like how the light of the like this is called the spiritual light, and like there is a light that will start gradually to appear and lately will become higher, like encircled by a halo of golden, and then like a blue sphere and a wide 5 pointed star. And I would like to show it to you since I have it in front of me.
Okay.
So yeah. Mm.
Oh,
So that is
okay. So that's the light that starts to appear.
indeed, yeah. So like it starts by the blue, by the yellow and like golden, yellow and golden. This is
Hmm.
then the blue opalescent is like blue opalescent, and then the white 5 pointed star.
Wow. It happens gradually as what? How does it expand that way? How does it open up?
Like it is gradually that it starts to appear, but basically it's like you are just going deeper into that manifestation or into that concentration in meditation,
Hmm.
and like you feel yourself just like encircled by that golden sphere. And so it's just like everything that exists is just that golden sphere. It's like nobody know anything, it's just like a spirit itself, and you're just like in that golden. Then gradually you will start to enter the blue, and just like everything is that blue, and so I am one with that blue, and like everything refers to a different level of
Hmm.
consciousness to get rid of the material consciousness and the body consciousness. And then the white 5 pointed star is like how the body becomes light, since you will see like this is my head, this part of the star is my head, the hands, okay, I don't know if you can see it,
Hmm.
the hands, and then the legs is the other part of the star. So it's like how your body starts to become light itself, and like you are light, and like nothing else exists.
Wow. So one of the things you put on your page? I saw it said cultivators of light. Is that kind of a part of that process, the cultivation of that light energy?
Yeah, it's like that light energy, but like in each person needs to give it the willpower of each own to be able to materialize it in this life. So it's like Cultivators of Light is the non-profit organization which whom we help other people establish their own communities.
Hmm.
Like let's say you have a land and we go to your community, we'll help you. Okay, if you want to create a community, where do you want to do the main building, like where do you want the meditation place, the garden, and like start to give them like the vision for the people to be able to do it. And so it's like through the meditation, each individual will be able to gradually expand their consciousness and become that real self, inner self that is just a spirit, and at the same time it's like nothing itself. So
That is amazing. So you're able to fully embody this, but it's like each individual has to do that for themselves. It can't be done by someone else. It has to happen from within you, you know. Okay. Okay. So when you started doing this practice, Maria, when you first started this specific meditation, what were the things that started to fall away? Like what did you start to lose when you started doing this?
yeah, when I started, like like I always, what growing up, feel like, okay, there must be a change in my way of living, but never really make an effort. And just like when got out of school, I start to realize, okay, it's time just for myself. No one is going to tell me what to do or nothing. It's just I'm going to do it. And I didn't know what was exactly what I was looking for, but I knew that the problem, the solution was myself. So in that moment, like in YouTube, like just like when I had this thought and like was willing to change the action that I was doing, since I'm like, if I want a change, I should be stopping to do the same things I do. So in that moment, there was a guy in YouTube that appeared like this propaganda and things, just like, oh, meditation, concentration, and I didn't really pay too much attention to him. But one day I went to a poetry writing course, and I met this guy, which just saw, and I'm like, this guy is different. Like I can see it, like his whole being is just different. And so I talked with him, and after that, he took me to a temple. And in this temple, when I just arrived, I just felt like the vibration was like I arrived home. Literally, I'm like, this is not a material or physical space. This is my home. And I entered there. He told me like, be still and just look here and be like in the meditation posture. And I'm like, wow, like first thing I thought was like, this is going to be super difficult, but I just did it, follow it. And I'm like, wow, like I feel a total different change in myself. And I arrived home and I didn't went anymore to the temple, but I started to do it in my house, just like 5 minutes, because for me to be in silence or to be with myself was like crazy. Like, wow, what am I going to do with myself? So like, then when I started to do it like 5 minutes, after that I was like living with my parents, and I had a lot of troubles with my mom, and like we were both like super explosive energy. So she was like telling me something like, harder, harder. So it was like this situation, and I'm like, no, like I'm meditating, like there's need to be a change in my life. And so I went back to the meditation posture, relax a moment, and I'm like, okay, if I want something to change, I must tell and act my mom in a different way. So I went to my mom all mornings and just like, hello mom, how are you, I love you very much. And when she got like crazy and started to say bad things to me or whatever, I'm like, okay mom, I'm sorry that you feel that way, I'm not in that space. And like gradually it stops to do the same thing. So like allow myself to be more self-control and like replace that time that I'm spending and wasting my energy into putting myself in silence, into putting myself in place. It's like redirecting that energy, because that energy is always there to destruct or to create something better. And it's like, I'm going to create something better. And this is the time that my mom is just like, oh, I love you very much, and just bringing this love as well to the world. So like that was like really one of the main things that started to change in me, and was my attitude toward things. And I really love to reflect and share this reflection with people. So when I share it with myself, when I was alone with myself, I'm like, I should not be acting this way. And so like kind of the power was in meditation, because just thinking of it, thinking I want to stop, was never enough. But when I started to combine it with meditation, with the breathing, with following my breathing in and out, was just like, wow, I can do it, because that attention is not outside, but is here in me. So I'm just like focusing here instead of going and thinking the problems. It's just, I'm just following the breath. And that was like really helping me to establish new habits, to establish new attitudes, to change my behavior upon things.
Yes. Yes. So you went within, you know. They do say that, Maria. I have heard this very often, that when we don't go within, we go without, you know. So you were able to restructure, rewire, and change your whole paradigm. You changed, that's a transformation right there, you know, just a powerful practice to be able to change the things on the outside by what you do on the inside. And, you know, with that meditation, with those forms of relaxation and forms of going within, you also mentioned like a mantra or affirmation that you might have also used while doing the meditation with affirmation. So you would do them on the inside, you would think, were you thinking the affirmation or speaking the affirmation?
So at first I started like to create some affirmations, and then I found a book called Metaphysical Meditations that is like a book of whole affirmations, just like from an illuminated master. So it's like all his experiences in meditation, and this was the affirmation he used. So it's like vibrantly charged, and so are really powerful. And like basically what I would do is just, there is a technique to practice the affirmation. It's not just like to thinking and that's it, but gradually to becomes like lower. So it's like you start saying the affirmation. Let's say, I love this affirmation. It's called, uh, I am submerged in eternal light.
Mm.
It permeates every particle of my being. I am living in that light. The divine spirit fills me within and without. Then you do it in a medium voice. I am submerged in eternal light. Then in a whisper, I am submerged in eternal light. And then just mentally, while focusing your gaze here. This is really important because this is going to make you concentrate. Like when you are with your closed eyes, you are in the subconscious state, so you are calling asleep. You are actually like, wow, I'm going to sleep, bye. And like then when you're like with open eyes, you're just like in this conscious state. And then when you are like with half eyes open, you are in the super consciousness. So you are, all your energy is focused in this point, which happens the expansion of that consciousness. So like right now, like it is gradually that you start to become fixed here, and just like stay there with your eyes half open,
Mm.
and then you pronounce this one and one and one and one and one until that affirmation is not just words, it's a vibration which becomes your vibration. So it's like that magnetic connection. You become one with everything. That is the whole purpose of practicing something, is that you actually experience it and become one with it. It's not just saying, it's like I am one with it. So I am submerged in eternal light, and like my body is dissolved. I am submerged in eternal light. I am a water, and I'm eternal light. Like literally, that's the experience you need to achieve.
Yes, yes. This is amazing. Like I'm like I'm like doing my best to digest. You know, I'm doing the ways that you express so like effortlessly, that the energy is just channeling through you. I'm doing my best to digest it all and just to take it all in and absorb it, because I love that you honor these practices and that they've given to you just as much as you've given to it. You know, the more that you give, the more you get back, the more you've received from, you know, putting time into this practice. So, you know, with this practice as well, how does that similar or how does that differ from Kriya Yoga? Because you talked to me about Kriya Yoga as well. Is how are those two different?
The different point is that Kriya Yoga includes all. So it's like I can meditate just in mantras, or I can meditate just in chanting, or I can meditate just like in my activity and right action. But Kriya Yoga is like the sum of all yogas. So you're actually practicing in your daily life, the service. They're not interested, not like waiting for something else to come back to you while you serve others, but just like serving and serving. Then as well, during your meditation, you include affirmation, visualizations, breathing exercise. But Kriya Yoga is a technique which helps us like attain that soul consciousness in a moment, because like just one Kriya is the same as 1 year of evolution.
Mm.
So I'm going to go slow into this. And what Kriya Yoga does is actually to teach you how the soul, like the human being, is actually a soul, and like he will never find any fulfillment in the material things, because he will always feel, okay, there's something else that I need. Oh, is this? I go for it. It's not enough. Other thing. Oh, it's not enough. It's not enough. It's never going to be enough, anything. Because what you're looking for is that inner connection. And that inner connection is your soul nature. So what Kriya Yoga teaches you is how to come back to that soul connection, to that whole, to that soul being, where you just don't feel things are separated from you, but are actually part of you and are your own. So understanding that, like, the way we have come back from that divine consciousness and soul consciousness, I'm going to go a little bit far, is like enter here, that connects with this point in the back, is called the medulla oblongata. And so this is just one point, and it goes down, and then it starts to go down to all your chakras and like magnetic energy. So like go down to the cervical, dorsal, lumbar, sacral, coccyx, and then your energy is in the coccyx. That's why you identify with all these material things, and you think you're this physical being and like nothing else exists. It's super difficult to understand other things, but once you start to meditate and allow that silence to be, just like that energy starts to flow up. And so through Kriya Yoga, you actually are redirecting that energy. You are not just like in meditation, in silence, and letting each step be, but more so like I can control the energy and I can become one with this energy. So it's mentally directing your attention to the spine and directing the energy flow to go up through each center and start activating. So it's like really a work of your visualization and your will, because you really need to focus and to be there like, okay, my energy is flowing through the coccyx, then through the sacral, then from sacral to lumbar, then lumbar to dorsal, dorsal to cervical, cervical to medulla, and here becomes the spiritual eye. And so when you attain this part, it's like your whole body expands, and like with one kriya you can really go deep within, but you start to organize yourself and to practice these kriyas like slowly, so you can get the most from each practice. And the thing is that is one soul evolution, because all the chakras and energy correspond to the zodiacal signs in the world. So it's like they have a correspondence of the 12 zodiacal. So going up and down in the spine is actually 1 year evolution. And so like it's really detailed and more scientifically explained in a book called Autobiography of a Yogi.
Ah, okay. Okay.
It's a wonderful book. It's
Yeah. And you're doing a beautiful explanation right now, Maria. You know, I've read that book as well. You know, I've touched on certain parts with Paramahansa Yogananda, but you know, just from what you're telling us, this is golden. You know, you might wonder, like, why aren't we taught these things in school? Like, why don't we learn this knowledge in college? Like, why don't you feel like this is more mainstream? Why people learn about these things?
You are asking me?
Yeah, like, why do you feel like this information is not taught to us in school, you know?
It's like, it's really because the way that we live, like the way that we live is really from dark times. So like the whole world is like in 4 stages. Like the whole evolution and age evolution is 4 stages that can like be really, wait, I had it here. And so like in the Holy Science, you can see, I don't know if you have ever read, but it's from a master called Sri Yukteswar, and this master explains like how he's an astrology, and explains how the world itself and the universe goes through 4 yugas, which start with Kali Yuga, which start with Satya Yuga, then Treta Yuga, then Dwapara Yuga, and then Kali Yuga. And so this can be referred more like for the world and people, more like gold, silver, bronze, and iron ages. And so like the transition we have entered already, we are now in the Para Yuga, that is like the second evolutionary state of the earth. And before we were in the Kali Yuga, which was like an an age of ignorance, where Jesus existed as well, and like he was crucified. Like whatever, whoever comes to tell you the truth is just like you are a witch. Like it does not exist. It's like everything is so controlled, and it's like darkness and ignorance, like most of the time. And now we're entering Dwapara Yuga, which like the subtle vibrations are understood, the free energy is understood, people are starting to connect more, like everything is energy. And so like this is like really the topic of all days. And so like really because of that ascending age, and like it's really a karmic thing that we are tied to that age. So that's why like the communities are starting to be built, because we are reascending to a higher age living, and the growing communities and living in communities is the actual way of doing things. And so where people will be able to expand their consciousness, to explore the infinite portals, and to start to realize that like this material existence is just no more than energy.
Wow. So it all comes down to energy, you know? It all comes down to energy, just bringing it together, you know, for our evolution. I heard you talking about evolution because, you know, this thing, when you're talking about these things, Maria, and you even described, you know, the chakras, the energy centers, and the different parts of the body, you know, the lumbar, the coccyx, all that stuff, you know, learning the anatomy of the body and then learning the energetic points and different centers. Did you always, you know, did you know about this when you were younger, or like when did you really start researching? Because it sounds like not only do you practice, but you also do a lot of research. It sounds like you read a lot, you know?
Indeed, like I like while being child or growing up, I never really read anything about chakras or these energy things, or was more for me like, oh, I have like that this feeling in my heart, and so this is the truth, like more so coming from a place of intuition, coming from a place of like I understand things like from another perspective. And just like when I started to meditate, start to potentialize that was already within me, that allows me to understand many different things. And there was like this master, Paramahansa Yogananda, which like I started to read different books that he has and meditate, because like just taking like a phrase or something and meditate upon it, instead that reading a whole book, just like each phrase is important and is like really deep within us, and just this phrase will reveal me the whole mystery of the book. This is really what is going within. So just like taking those little thoughts and little steps that will allow me to just enter that consciousness, and just like it's called like a transmission of light. And so when like a master connects to a student that is following his teaching, it's like he do a transmission of light in you, and it allows you to expand your consciousness and go deeper and understand. So yeah, that has really been part of the process. Of course, there are other things that I have read, and like everything is how like Self-Realization Fellowship was a foundation that Paramahansa Yogananda established to be able to deliver his teachings more directly. So it does not become like, oh, Paramahansa Yogananda here, Paramahansa Yogananda there, but more so like there is just one straight line, and this is where you are going to get these teachings. And so in that moment, like I started to practice more these teachings, and in the teachings is like everything that you need to understand is just like there. And while you go to meditation, it's not just like, oh, I need to memorize this. It's like I experience it in meditation. And while you experience something, it becomes attached to your heart. And when you experience something through your heart, it's just like, wow, this is real. Like I always had that thought as well, like how people can memorize things and such, but like then I start to realize that it's not about memorizing, things. It's about experiencing it. And once you experience, you will never forget it. It's like, wow, this happened to me while I was super little, but I remember exactly every little part because it was so amazing for me. So it's like that experience is what gives you the key to everything.
Yes, yes, beautiful. Oh man, beautiful explanation. Just talking about how these things get attached to the heart. I love how you said that, Maria, that the experiences, the things that stay with us, they become attached to the heart, attached to the heart. We're never far apart when it's the heart, you know? So, when it comes to not only sustainable living, but with you and your partner, you were telling me that you're you're learning how to become more sustained by the earth. And with chronic living, with breatharianism, how did you find out about that? This lifestyle.
Yeah, like really when I started to meditate, like before I started to meditate was like for me, like I don't need to eat breakfast. Like everyone says it's the most important food, but I just feel my stomach is going to die, and my whole experience is like, wow, I'm going to die. Eating at 7 a.m. in the morning is like for me feels like super bad, and so just always realizing like there must be something else. And while I start to meditate, I start to believe more in that inner guidance within, and I'm like, okay, this gotta be like, if I don't feel it, why I should eat? Just because you need to eat, you need to do things. Never. Like I want to become more sensitive in everything, and it's like I want to feel it all. So once I started to feel that, I stopped like eating breakfast, and after that, like feeling like, okay, during the day I didn't even have like a lot of hunger or something. I was just like a fruit, and that's okay. And so, and at night always feel like I don't want to eat at night, and then sleep and be heavy. No, like that never feels accurate for me. And so just like there, like everything in the world is a lie. Wow. But like realizing that, and realizing that my whole existence has been a lie, is not something easy to see through, and it's not something easy just to affirm and to say, oh yeah, this was a lie, and this was a lie, and this was a lie. So like I started to realize that, and so just like allow myself to be guided through that, and becomes more like eating just raw food and just like salad. I always like salad a lot, and fruits. I was never too much into fruits, and it's like really something funny that Colombia is a rich country where you can grow everything, like literally everything, every kind of food. It tastes delicious. Always pineapple, always mango, always avocado. So it's like, wow, like this is wonderful. But like we never eat fruit. Like that was not into our whole growing up or something. Like no, we eat more meat. Like us, like growing up and things like our traditional food per se is like something full of meat. So it's like, wow, crazy. And just like I started to analyze these things, and so I started like literally just to eat one fruit a day, and that was okay for myself. And just sometimes I wouldn't even eat, and so like just like I started to approach it from that place. And in that same point I was talking with Mashida is the name of my partner. And so I was talking with him, and he would share with me that he has read Man's Higher Consciousness, and he would share a lot like these same thoughts and knowledge, and was like, yeah, like we are in the same vibration, we are living the same. It's like no need for this. So like really feeling that like we don't need that food, and just like when not eating feeling even much more recharged, and just like going to a waterfall or just like receiving sunbathing is amazing. So it's just like how the energy is all within you, and when you start to get it without you, it's like you become more attached to things, and you become more dependent on things. Anytime you want something, you start to wanting more and more and more and more. But like once you stop wanting something, you become more sustainable by yourself, because right within you is that energy of a spirit within you. So it's like nothing else I need.
Yes,
So yeah.
yes. I agree. You know, I agree. You're really reminding me of myself as you speak, Maria, because you know, I even remember that chapter in the autobiography of a yogi. There was a chapter with a lady named Giri Bala, and the chapter was called "The Woman Yogi Who Never Eats."
Indeed.
You know? And that was, I mean, that chapter blew my mind. You know, when I first read that, I was like, what? There's people that exist that don't eat? Because it was, like I said, you know, just thinking backwards, like everything was backwards. It's like, have, you know, all the things that I thought I knew to be true, you know what I mean? I was like, what is true? What is real? What is life? What is this? So it was just a big revelation after revelation. And kind of like you were saying earlier with the levels, you know, it was like new levels of enlightenment, you know? The lighter you become, there's another enlightenment. And then you become a little lighter, then another enlightenment. And then, you know, you're just submersed in light, you know, submerged in light. It's amazing. It's amazing to see that on all levels. And how they, you know, we have these sayings like less is more, you know, but do we really believe that, and do we really receive that? So you and your partner, when he was referring to you to man's higher consciousness, you know, books like that, and how you were both on the same wavelength, you were both kind of in the same vibration when it came to this. How has it been to have that support of your partner kind of going into this lifestyle and learning more about chronic living?
It's wonderful. It's wonderful to be able to practice it together. And like normally, like what we are doing right now is like has been more into fasting than me, and so like he has fasted for 30 days and more, and like me, like when I started to fast like 3 days and like keep into that, and right now just like fasting the weekend from Friday to Sunday, yeah. So like that has been like really nice to be able to share and have this process in company with someone that is already into that.
Yeah, yeah. And what kinds of things, Maria, do you feel that fill you up when you're not filling yourself up internally, when you're not consuming externally? What fills you up internally? What are some of the things that you do to have that feeling while you're fasting?
Yeah, it's like with meditation, everything is easier
Mhm.
indeed. And so like really putting my attention more towards the practice of meditation. And sometimes there is something that I like a lot that is called kirtan,
Mm.
and it's like chanting from the heart and becoming one with each word you said. So it's like kind of a mantra practice,
Mhm.
and so that I like to do a lot while fasting. And just like, of course, exercise is very important to exercise, and if you want as well, just like lay down on the grass and feel the sun into your face. That's really nice as well. You will feel like a recharge, because when you start to fast, you will start to feel like, wow, my body is weird, or like I feel weak per se, but it's not really weak. It's just like your body is understanding and adjusting itself to this new way of living. So it's like, okay, you start to live something to become less dependent on other things. And for that, like really sunbathing, or just like the water as well, like really good water. Just I love a lot to get into waterfalls and just
Mm.
like be there, or like be with nature, like go to a forest or something in the jungle and just like to walk around. That will help you a lot. Like being in modern nature makes you feel like embraced by it, and you feel like that completeness.
Hmm. Hmm. So as your body was starting to adjust, you know, how do you feel you were able to trust as your body was starting to adjust? What were you able to do, or how did you feel that sense of, you know, like I'm gonna continue to do this even though I don't know, you know, I don't know what's on the other side. I'm kind of going through the zone of the unknown, because for many of us, we're taught, you know, that okay, if you go without this, then it's over, right? Or if you go without that, it's over, right? So how were you able to trust through that process?
Yeah, that was like I become thinner in a part when I was starting like to fast, change my diet as well because like one while I started to fast and everything like from 2000 everything kind of aligned at the same time. So 2020 I started like my process of meditation. I then knew about natural living and started to eat raw food. Then I stopped eating meat. I started more into fasting. So like this was like everything in one point, and like I felt and I saw like myself was getting thinner, but for myself was like it doesn't matter. Like okay, so like I never really think okay, this person is looking at me, okay, what am I going to say, or like what does this person thinks of me. I always thought like is my process, and like I this is the time that I'm going to stop listening to everyone that comes to me and start listening to myself. And if this I feel that is right, I will continue no matter what. That I see this change, I did this change, but I need to allow the transition and the process to be. While that process is done, I can have the experience and then share with others this experience of mine that will help others be uplifted as well as trusting more their inner self. So like through meditation and the affirmation was really a huge part of my transition that helped me like go through many boundaries. And I also love writing a lot, so like while meditating, affirmating, as well as writing everything, just like this is what I'm going through, and like I am going to do it, I am able to do it, experiencing and like enjoy the process, which is the most important. Just like enjoy how you're feeling, enjoy how your body starts to readjust. And so like really just like through that practice of meditation and affirming with myself, I could go farther the boundaries.
Mm, yes, I see, you know, and thank you for just the testimony. Thank you for being so transparent and like really just describing the things that you were growing through and going through, and just trusting that what I love about Maria is that it feels like everything comes from a higher purpose, you know, like a higher purpose, a higher perspective, a higher calling, a higher vocation. It's like it's not just me. It's like you're just this is not all about me. This is also for me to pass this test, to go through this testing time, to so that I can also have a testimony that will touch someone else's life. You know? It's a higher that's such a high perspective to have. You're so young.
Indeed, this is not my first life.
You've been here before, you know? Yeah, yeah. This is amazing. You know, when you talk about this, it really touches me too, because I saw that you said something about accompanying each other on the road to evolution, you know? That we're kind of holding each other's hands, guiding each other on the road to evolution. What do you feel like is the evolution for humanity? Where do you see humanity going, you know?
Like really we have done it all, we have already done it all, and like everything that we kind of create has been already existent, and we are just primarily giving it side in our life, in our perspectives. But like we have been able to do many things, from like teletransport or like telepathy, and like read our thoughts, and like we are the higher self. So it's like we can do it all, and we have gone through that already. It's just that right now, since everyone is starting to leave the veil, it's just like the evolution is just right now in this place. But like if you are where you really are, you can really find much more information about what we are capable of doing. So like farther beyond the limits of the mind, if you're able to do it, you will be able to find it. And so it's like just like opening that door, and when you are open to that, everything else will start to appear.
Yes.
But I
Yes.
cannot say just like one thing in detail. Like I would say like yeah, like unimaginable things that we see in the movie is like, oh, this is just happening in the movie. Crazy. This is our potential and more. And it's just like we think, oh, that is what they do. But actually, what everything we see should be teaching us is like, that and more is what I can do.
Yeah.
Like right now, we are just mirrors and further. So it's like you go through everything. Oh, this person teach me that. Oh, I saw this thing and I learned about this. I can go further and further. And it's like never ending. It's like a never ending entertainment in the world. It's really like that.
That is so cool. That is so cool, Maria. So you see it as like it's all a reflection, you know? So you have that inner connection when you see the things that are a reflection of who you are inside, of the abilities inside, of the possibilities you have inside, the potential you have inside, you know, for endless growth, endless evolution. Yeah, that is amazing. You know, that is amazing. This whole conversation has lit me up. I feel fed. You know, I feel full. I feel like you've given us so much soul food. You know, Alma, the soul, the messenger of God. This has been soul food. You know, this has been so good. And just if this is somebody's first time witnessing you or encountering you, would you let people know, you know, anything that you'd like about any offerings, any services, anything that you'd like for people to come to you if they want to receive you, what you have for somebody?
Like, um, I don't
Yeah,
understand.
yeah. So anything like if you have any offerings or any services for somebody, if you do any one-on-ones, or if somebody just wanted to come to you for advice, where would you like to go to receive it?
Okay, like mainly what I help people to has been more presentially, and is like helping them start to get into meditation and really like this technique of Kriya Yoga that I cannot really give it. It needs to be like through a path that is already established, and this comes from a master called Babaji, and so it's like a whole lineage of master from Hindu. So if they really are looking for this higher age living in their lives, it's like a start to practice this technique. Rather, if you start to follow a single path, or you start to research more about this Kriya Yoga technique, since Kriya Yoga has been more established as Raja Yoga before, and like before it was known like in higher age living, but because of the ignorance and darkest ages we have really gone through, like it has been lost. So now it has been like reestablished in this transition as Kriya Yoga. So I would say like that is my recommendation. Other thing that I can offer to people is come and visit us in the community, live with us, and like start to really put yourself into this thought of like, what am I going in life, and just not just with what I'm doing, but also with the world I'm living, and like what I'm supporting, because to be really aware of like the things I'm supporting, and like the change that you want to be in the world, and like the environments that you are living into, like how you project yourself. What is it what you are looking for and what you want to bring forth in the world? And it's like everything is to start first from a process within. So like start with meditation. I can give them some advices in meditation, and like if they want to talk to me, yeah, like super welcome. Also like I can give something right now here, and basically it's like start to like relax and let yourself just be in silence, let's say 5 minutes. Like that will make a change, because whatever you can make the effort to is enough. This moment of your life is enough, but to start now, that's the most important. And then slowly to start to progress, to say, oh, I want something else, I want something else. And so like that would be part of the things that I can help them. I have made like massages and energy healing therapies, like that go through massages and like through this connection with the soul of the other person, and like healing themselves through energy. But like it's really like something that presential I would do with others. So like if they are willing to be part of a community, to know more about this plain living and high thinking, to message me, to connect with me, to see how we can make of this world a better world, and how we can all start from ourselves as well to make that transition, to make what we want to see in others, to see it in ourselves. So
Yes. Yes. I love this. I love this. This is so nourishing, Maria, so nourishing. Thank you for just, bringing it back to saying that, it is enough. What we do is enough. In the moment, it is enough. And we are already enough, just to have that idea implanted, to have that seed implanted, and to just water that seed and watch it grow. Like you said, when you started the meditation, it was only 5 minutes, right? But that 5 minutes,
indeed,
it started to grow. It started to grow, and it took you somewhere else, but you just started with that 5 minutes. That was already enough. So thank you for just reminding us that it is enough. Thank you for, this information. Thank you for the invitation, and also just thank you for raising the vibration. I already feel the vibration has raised just from this conversation. So thank you. Thank
thank you as well. Yeah, I'm really happy. Peace and love for everyone, and just like, yeah, everything, like everyone is in a process, so the most important thing is to understand that we are on our own process and path, and like if we are in another place right now, it's normal, it's okay. If we want to achieve something, okay, we are going through it. But if we feel okay right now, like it's also part of this process and part of this drama of creation, that we need everyone to be like a different character. So it's everything perfect wherever you are, and that is the most important.
Oh, perfect. All right. All right. Well, I trust that, we can do this again sometime. I'd love to have another conversation like this, and just enjoy the rest of your day. And yeah, just bless. Thank you for what you're doing. Thank you. Keep going.
Yeah, blessings as well.
Right. All right. We'll take care. We'll take care. See you then.